No, you say your neighbor wanted to have like chat a whole bunch after you got home, just before you probably even get in the door, right?
I mean, yeah, because he caught me in the driveway there. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to talk to him too, but it's kind of mandatory, I think.
Yeah. You have to humor him for a little bit, but that just makes me think about. It has nothing to do with this, but it's just one of those things that I always think about it when I'm walking by the house. I'm like, I should mention that on the podcast sometime. Like one of our neighbors across the street was having some yard work done.
Yeah.
And he's like an older guy that lives there. He looks kind of like Charles Martinet a little bit.
Oh, all right. Yep.
Anyways, he was talking to the lawn guy. This is maybe at the beginning of the summer. It may have even been last summer.
So this is his house, but this is the lawn guy that he hired.
Yes.
And then he's out there talking to him.
Yes, he's out there talking to the lawn guy, and I'm taking out the garbage, right? And I hear them talking, and I think the guy who lives there was like done with the conversation. He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go take a shit." Here comes the, yeah. She took Ari to dance. If you bring it down here, I will give you more time on Fortnite.
Good Lord.
We're doing the podcast. You want to say hi real quick?
Hello there.
Hey, Monty, how are you?
Look up there.
Good. Hi.
What are you doing?
Okay.
You're playing Fortnite there on the Switch?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, I can't speak intelligently enough about Fortnite to have a conversation about it because I don't know anything about it. So, like, I didn't even know what I could ask them. I don't even know what kind of game that is.
Well,
anyway, going back to what you were saying, it just reminded. There's like one of my favorite scenes in The Sopranos is, this guy's in the house with his wife, and his wife is talking about something that he does not want to have a conversation with about at all. And, so he just lets her finish. And as soon as he's done, he just like picks up a magazine and just goes, "I'm going to go try and take a shit." And it's one of my favorite scenes. That's like his way of saying the conversation's over. But it's even funny. I liked it. It's a subtle detail, but he doesn't say, "I'm going to go take a shit." He says, "I'm going to go try and take a shit." So I don't even really have to go, but I'm going to go see if I can squeeze something out just to get out of this conversation with you, Right.
That's what makes it funny, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I love the idea of this guy, like just talking to the lawn guy. And
well, it's just funny because when you said that, I'm like, I kind of assumed that it was like the homeowner that was out there bothering the lawn guy when he's just trying to do his job. But from what you're saying, it almost sounds like the opposite. Like the lawn guy wanted to chat.
That is what was happening. He was out there talking to the lawn guy.
Yeah.
And the lawn guy was just trying to get stuff done. And he was just like talking his ear off.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "I'm going to go take a shit."
Yeah.
But he like kind of announced, he's like, "All right." Like he's Gerald Undone. He's like, "All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take a shit."
Is that something
that should be?
Is that something that Gerald Undone says on his show? I haven't watched that many of his videos. But
he always goes, "All right, I'm done."
Oh yeah.
At the end, right?
Yeah.
But I like the idea of ending every video from now on.
Yeah.
By saying, "All right, I'm gonna go take a shit." like, can you imagine like My Life in Gaming like switching our like ending of the episode is what we say? Like that's the last thing we say every time before we go to the ending credits.
I don't know. I just feel like if Tri said that, it would sound totally natural. Like I wouldn't even bat an eye if he said that. I'm gonna go.
Either way, I think that would be really funny. You should stick it in at the end of the of a weekly rental.
Absolutely
weekend
not.
rental.
Absolutely not.
But what if it was true?
I still wouldn't. It's just not my. That's not my style. Anyway, so I don't know if you want to talk about this or not. if you don't want to, that's fine. I just, I was looking back at, sort of our upload schedule or whatever, and it's been pretty erratic lately, so I don't know. Not that anybody's entitled to an explanation, but, I don't know if you want to.
Well, there's just been a lot going on. It's, you've been doing a lot of housework, but
yeah,
I'll tell you, my wife started a new job and she has to go in the office, and it's completely changed the dynamic around here lately, just because I have to go and do a lot more stuff during the day that sometimes she would handle it, or we would just kind of split it evenly. But she's got to commute home, and that's through 5 o'clock traffic, and she has worked from home since we've lived here, in Cincinnati. So she's never had to deal with 5 o'clock traffic.
That's got to be a rough adjustment for her to all of a sudden have to.
She did go into the office for a while there, but it was on the other side of the bridge. It was you didn't hit any traffic at all. It's just right there. She could rode her bike a lot of times.
Oh,
there.
all right.
But because of that, that puts me on kid pickup duty a bunch.
Don't blame your kids.
No. I'm saying it's just there's just a lot of stuff happening simultaneously, and and I'm the kind of person if I am at a good stopping point and I can just focus on going to get them, it's totally fine. But last week there was one day where I started getting messages about a bunch of different things at once from different people, and it's just it was just overstimulation.
Was I doing that? Was I part of that problem? I hope not.
No. It was just a lot of things going on at one time, and it just throws me all out of sorts. It's just I short out. I can't, just nobody talk to me.
Yeah.
I'll do what I need to do, but just don't have a conversation with me. But that was just that's one of many things that's been going on. But she started that job, and I'm helping out with some video stuff also. Something that we'd kind of agreed to before even she got the job. We were just going to do this thing for them. There's somebody from the company that she got hired at is retiring, and they have some banquet type thing that's happening in March where they want to have just a couple of videos about stuff, maybe some interviews. And I could just go in there and just put zero effort into it and just shoot it.
Yeah.
But, if these interviews are going to happen, I want to get them mic'd up, and I want to have it look pretty good. I want it to be something special, I guess, that this person, has worked there, started this place and is retiring.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice for them to have that as a keepsake, I guess. But we are doing this stuff, and I've been, going to having to do that in my off times. It is by 9 o'clock at night, I've just been done. I just can't
totally
focus or do anything and have a conversation. And so it is my fault that there hasn't been.
Well, it's not. I mean, I wasn't trying to bring it up to,
No, but
hey,
it
tell
is.
everybody it was your fault. I just, my main concern is just that's the pattern of the show's going to go away. It's okay, it was weekly uploads. Now it's every other week with no explanation, and eventually it's going to go away. And I don't want the listeners/viewers to be in that mindset.
I agree.
The show's not going anywhere. It's just I think that for both of us, not that I don't love doing this podcast, but I mean, it's on the priority list. It's down there,
Yes, exactly. And I think that most, if not all, the listeners will understand that.
Yeah.
It would be different if there was really anything of substance to the show, and people were I need to.
Yeah.
It's just us BSing.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just don't have a chance to BS.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like real life, I guess, in a way.
Definitely.
It's like maybe that's exactly what your neighbor needed. Just needed a little BS.
I wanted to
moment.
ask him about something too. So it's like, I think he would have been kind of butthurt if I had just not said anything and gone in the house. But at the same time, I went over there and asked him a fairly open-ended question, that he had to respond to. So that took a few minutes.
Well, it's all right. I was just recording footage from the Analogue Duo.
Oh, I haven't gotten mine yet, but I ordered one.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was thinking about this today while I was
11th.
I was thinking about this while I was driving to work today. I don't mean this in a negative way. Well, kind of, but I think people think that like Analog doesn't pay any attention to social media. Like somebody just shows up on Twitter and tweets out whatever the day's promotional thing is, and then like leaves, and they don't read anything on Twitter. I think the fact that like I feel like I'm the only person I know who doesn't get free stuff from Analog is like proof enough that they're paying attention to what people say on social media, because I've not pulled my punches with them. Although obviously I like their stuff enough that I've got a Analogue Duo coming in the mail.
Yeah. I mean, and also you just want to support the system, right?
I mean, it's anything turbo related,
Yeah.
I mean, because you see, like the pre-orders never even sold out. It's just
right.
Which you would expect. I mean, I wouldn't expect that system to be as popular as any of the others they've made. But you want people to understand out there that hey, there are people that will buy PC Engine stuff. So
yeah,
like I totally don't need that system at all. In the same way, I don't need any of my analog systems really, but they're just nice.
Yeah. The functionality and even just what the systems themselves look like.
Yeah. Can I ask you one?
Appealing.
Like I know you're working on a video. I assume you're working on a video about it. Mm-hmm. But if I can ask just one question, because it came up in my Discord too. I'm just curious. Basic question, but does the EverDrive fit? Can you use an EverDrive with it? Like, will it fit in the slot? Or I don't know how far in a Hue card goes.
It goes in pretty far.
Okay.
The EverDrive will fit in there.
Yeah.
But you got to take off the plexiglass. If you have like a previous one, like a non-pro, but
I have a non-pro.
Do you have a pro?
I don't have a pro.
Okay. Well, if you take off the plexiglass, it'll fit in there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to get it'll get custom firmware or whatever at some point.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I'll just wait for that.
But the Turbo EverDrive Pro it doesn't have plexiglass. It has another thing, but it looks like a PCB of some sort. So I wonder if there's components on it that I can't take that off. So I can't.
Maybe.
I can't fit it in there, but I can use this thing called like PC Henshin, which I got from DB Electronics, which all it is it plugs into the Hue card port, and then you plug a Hue card into it, and it will swap the region.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all it does.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
I could get the Pro to show up, and I could play some games.
Yeah.
But sometimes they would just get caught in like a never-ending loop.
Yeah.
But I think that has something to do with it being a Turbo EverDrive Pro or that PC Henshin thing.
Maybe. I mean, whatever. I didn't really buy that thing because I want to play my EverDrive on it anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
Somebody was asking in the Discord, and I was curious. I'm like, yeah, I actually don't know the answer to that either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But recently, the game I've probably been playing on it the most.
Yeah.
Is I almost feel ashamed that I have not spent more time with it. It was recommended to me a long time ago, and I got it, but I never really put a lot of time into it, and that's Galaga 90.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing that it made me think of what happened with Donkey Kong on the
Game Boy.
On the Game Boy, where it starts out as the game that you know, and then it turns into like a shooter.
Yeah.
Or like, Mario turned into like a whole platformer type deal.
Yeah, I mean it's a great game.
It's like it's a plot twist, I guess. You can consider it that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a great game. I wish that there was more music in it.
That's true. It's kind of a quiet game.
Yeah, which is typical of Galaga.
You should check out. Have you played? Because it's kind of the same way. If you ever play on the PC Engine, Space Invaders Fukatsu no Hi.
No.
Check it out.
It's pretty good.
I was going to do a weekend rental about that one at some point, but
oh yeah,
I haven't yet. But so you don't have that game? Then
I don't think I do.
Okay, because I have 2 copies of it, so I could send you one.
Oh really?
Well, I had a copy, and then somebody sent me a copy. Like, a fan of the show sent me a copy, which was extremely generous.
Oh, cool.
But I was like, oh, I already have it, But it's just same thing.
Okay.
It's like it takes the Space Invaders formula, but adds, beefs it up. Although it also includes the original Space Invaders. So when you boot the game up, you pick. Do you want original Space Invaders, or do you want whatever it's called, Super Space Invaders or something?
Right.
Fukatsu no Hi means Day of Resurrection. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
well, they're bringing back the Space Invaders at that time.
Yeah. Anyway, I got a few things on a list. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I got a list. I mean, we haven't talked really that much.
Yeah. No kidding. Since the
I
last
got
time I talked to you, you started wearing
hit
glasses
some.
again. So it's been a while. You got LASIK, and then you got so old that your vision went to crap again.
Yeah. Well, I can talk about that if you want me to briefly.
Well, you don't have to. Well, I mean, people are going to wonder. I would say.
Yeah.
Those are very stylish frames, though. I already told you that. I'm just going to say it again.
They're $30, and I
like
them. I like that they're like the 2 colors.
Right. That's why I like them.
So my vision, it feels like at a distance, has been like getting worse and worse. Yeah. And the thing is that if I don't look at anything like close up, it'll be like 97% of the way there of being like good.
Like when you say at a distance, like how far away before things get blurry would you say?
It's weird to say that it's blurry because it's almost like one eye is like slightly out of focus, and it's like giving everyone kind of everything sort of like a double vision kind
of.
You
think it's only one eye? Like if you close one eye, are you okay?
Like if I close one eye, one is worse than the other. Okay. Yes. Okay. And I think that throws a lot of stuff off. But if the problem is that if I look at my phone, even just like glance at it for, I don't know, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I look up and it's like I'm screwed. It's like
you should stop looking at your phone. I don't know if you thought about that, but.
Well, I could look at it with reading glasses, but I can't just like, if I'm like out and walking around, I'm not going to just like glance at it if I need to.
I just got to sharpen my pencil while you're talking.
It's all right. What's really funny is that has done a good job of cutting out that sound for me. Yeah. I didn't hear the sound at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a very good sound you missed out on.
Yeah. So I went in there, and this was, I want to say, September. And I was like, I think it's just, I'm getting really annoyed because I can't read street signs until like I'm basically passing them.
Yeah.
Which is like, you can't live like that.
Yeah.
You can deal with it in the moment, or you can function normally enough, but it's not like a way that you want to live all the time.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, so things might still be healing, this and that. Like, oh, they look like I see some dry patches or something like that, or they didn't say something like that. I'm adding that myself. But they said, try these other drops and. Put this stuff in when you go to sleep every night, and come back in a month.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it got no better. And I went in and after a month, and it was a different doctor I was talking to, and he was like, "Okay, so we can do like additional like touch up, like calibration or whatever.
Yeah.
But it has to have been at least 6 months since your thing."
Yeah.
Since your initial LASIK operation. And, but in the meantime, he's like, gives me these different, like, it's having me look through the things and giving me the different like lenses to try. It's like, try these on, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is how I thought I was supposed to be seeing right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep. So here's a prescription. Go to this website, and you can put this in there, and you can order glasses.
Okay, so those are actually a prescription. I thought you just went and like got.
But it's like super light. It's like a minus 5 or something like that. Minus 0.5 or something.
I don't know anything about.
Well, neither do I. But these glasses with the prescription lenses and everything, and it was worth $30.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
So, depending on what they do, when I go back, and I'm supposed to go, I think January 7th, or maybe it's 27th or 17th. If it still doesn't make things perfect, I feel as though I'm okay with living a life where I can see and function and do stuff without my glasses.
Yeah,
almost all the time. Like I can just throw on sunglasses, not a big deal. It's like, but if I need to wear glasses
or something, you'd want glasses
for like the important stuff.
Yeah,
that costs $30 every year.
Yeah,
I am okay with that lot in life.
Sure.
Because, I just wear these when, it's just really important that I see everything. Or, if I was like going out.
But like, what are you wearing them for right now? Like, you're not looking at anything far away.
Just because I had them on.
All right. All right. I'm just asking.
Like even right now, so my Alexa has a clock back there, and I look at it, I can read it, but I take it off, and it just like looks like rays of light coming out of it.
Yeah, like a Madonna song.
Yeah. So I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay with that being my life. If it came down to it, I would probably wear glasses more times than not. Yeah. But I would be able to just totally be able to function.
Yeah.
Without them.
Yeah.
But,
like I cannot not wear glass. Even if I'm just at home, I cannot not wear glass. So it sounds like like my wife can do that. Like my wife doesn't always wear glasses when she's just at home because her vision is nowhere near as bad as mine. So it sounds like where you're at, right? Like if you were just at home doing whatever, you could not wear glasses and be fine.
Yeah.
So
or even go places.
I would love to have that be the case.
I don't know. I think that I probably look better with glasses anyways.
I mean, I thought you look okay both ways to me. I'll just say I only saw it because I tuned into a little bit of the stream on Sunday.
Right.
And I saw the glass, but it's kind of funny because my first thought was not like, why is Coury wearing glasses? It was just like, hey, those are pretty cool glasses.
And then you're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Wait a minute.
What?
Yeah.
The truth is I never actually had LASIK. I was just making it up.
Yeah. Good story for the show. Yeah. So, anyway, so I was going to talk a little bit about the RetroTink 4X.
The 4K.
Right. Oh, gosh. Yes, the 4K. Ks and X's look very similar.
They do.
No, so, so I got, you already know all this, but, so I got RetroTink 4K from Mike Chi, very generous person. And so as a result of that, I went out and bought a 4K TV because I've never owned a 4K TV. I was using down here in the basement, I had like a 32, 34-inch monitor that I had bought a long time ago. Like, now I have an iMac that I edit the big videos on my show for, which I haven't made a big video in a while, but that notwithstanding, I have an iMac as my main computer for the show.
Yeah.
So that has a built-in screen is my point. But before that, I had a Mac Tower. And so I had purchased this large monitor for doing video editing. But it was more than 1080p, but not 4K. It was like 2160 that's 4K. I don't know what resolution it is. It's halfway between 1080p and 4K.
Yeah. Probably 1440, probably 1440p.
No, it was more than that. I don't know.
Are you talking about this like weird aspect ratio one?
I don't know, man. No. I have that one. I'm looking at you on that one right now. I love this monitor.
Okay.
But so anyway, so I wasn't using that monitor anymore, and so I took it to work for a while, and then I brought it back and had it down here in the basement. just as like a larger monitor for like playing PS4 on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then when Mike offered me a RetroTink 4K, I didn't want to tell him I don't actually have a 4K TV. And so I was like, oh, yes, sure, I would love one. Thank you so much. And then I went out and bought this OLED. So I've never had an OLED TV either. Either.
It sounds like a big week for you.
I mean, I don't know. So it's funny. So it's cool. So I got the TV, and it's funny because I hooked it up, and I was pretty disappointed with it, just because I think just the standard settings are just not at all good. Like, especially in game mode, like the TV looked like trash in game mode, and I'm like, what the heck?
It's like over sharpened and all this other crap.
But I mean, like the colors didn't look very good. Like everything was just like not, like it was like undersaturated, and I don't know, it looked terrible. But then, I got it all dialed in, and like now it looks awesome. But it's like, why isn't that the default? Because normally I feel like TVs should be more like, we're going to make it look extra good to make you want to have the TV. And instead it was like the opposite.
I mean, it seems like it would be.
But whatever, I don't even care. So anyway, I got it all dialed in the way I like it. And, I got the 4K hooked up to it. And it's the funniest thing because just the first system I hooked up to it was Super Nintendo, because I just recently had I have the one chip, the Junior, and I had recently had the mod. I had modded it myself years ago, and so it's not a very good mod probably. And I had gotten one of Voltar's RGB mod chips for it, and so I had that installed in it, and I hadn't even plugged it in since I got that done. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. And
so it was sitting here, so I was like, I'll throw the Super Nintendo on there and load up one of the Super Nintendo profiles for it, and play it. But then I was like, because like I got the 4K before I got the RetroTink 4K before I got the TV.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not even gonna take it out of the box because I want the first experience to be the good one, right? So I'm not gonna hook that up to some other monitor. So I just left it in the box till I got the TV. And then sort of the same thing. I'm like, I want the first game that I look at, the first game I see, to be like a WoW game,
Yeah.
And so I was trying to think of like, what's the best looking Super Nintendo game? You got an opinion? Before I say what it was, you have an opinion on that?
I would say probably the best looking
Super
Nintendo game is probably Yoshi's Island.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So if that's what I loaded up Yoshi's Island. And I mean, this was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just still doing that.
You're just turning it on and like looking at it?
No, I've been playing through it, but I haven't even hooked any other systems up to the RetroTink 4K because first of all, I love that game. But then like with this TV and like, that upscaler, I just sit there and I'm playing it and, a new level loads up, with a new color scheme and new graphics. And I'm just like, wow, like I'm just having, it's like, I know you don't watch Seinfeld, but it's like, people at home will know, Morty Seinfeld and tip calculator. And it's just like, to me right now, it's just a Yoshi's Island machine. And maybe later I'll play something else on it. But I'm just having such a good time playing Yoshi's Island in 4K.
Yeah, and not only that, but now you'll have that memory of like that's the first way that you played it, the first thing you played through. And I love the fact that you're playing through the entire game. You're not just like, I want to see how this looks. I want to see how this one's. Maybe that's what everyone needs to do. It's if you have a lot of games, just play that first game and just keep on playing it till you want to play something else.
But what's funny is and this was kind of your fault, but. So I went on Amazon and I bought the same 4K capture card that I already had bought and returned previously.
Yeah.
Because of the whole PCI slots in my computer thing.
Right.
But you're like, hey, now you can record footage in 4K. And without even thinking about, why, I'm just like, yeah. And so, I go and I buy the capture card and I put it in there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try capturing footage in 4K. And then I'm not smart enough to understand why any of this is the case, but like basically OBS just won't do it. Like if I try to record 4K footage in OBS, I look back at what I recorded and it's like 5 frames per second. Like it just doesn't do it.
There's like different, that's even the case with my setup. Unless you got to like tweak the settings to record in 4K like smoothly.
Yeah, well, so I ended up just using the software that comes with the card, and that was fine.
Oh, really?
That
Okay.
worked just fine. So it's not like my computer can't do it. It's just I don't know. Maybe I don't have OBS set up properly. I don't know. But then now I have to use this other software that I don't really like.
But it's not the end of the world.
The interface is not very, because I used to use a StarTech card to record, and I liked the StarTech software. I liked it just fine. But this AverMedia one, I don't really like, and so I'm trying to get that to work. And like, I don't know, it's weird. And I just sat here at one point and just kind of stopped what I was doing. I just kind of asked myself, like, what am I doing? You know, because like I've got Capture Cart over here set up like exactly the way I like it. Like I have zero complaints, or even not even complaints. Things I wish were a little bit better. I got nothing. Like. Capture Cart's perfect. I had Capture Cart. I had the dual input Capture Card in my computer.
Yeah.
And I have the little Stream Deck mini thing on my desk so I can switch between the RetroTink 5X, which is what's on the Capture Cart, input into the card. And then the other one is my camera here. And it was like perfect. And so I'm like, why am I screwing with this? And so I put it all back the way it was. And part of it was just like, why can't I just have an OLED TV and a RetroTink 4K and have that just be for me? Not everything has to be for the benefit of my show. I can just be like, no, I want to sit down here and play Yoshi's Island, an incredible 4K with the blackest blacks of an OLED TV and the vibrant colors. And it doesn't have to be about anything else. You don't have to be
recording it.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I put 4K is back over there. Capture Cart is back the way it should be. I took the Capture Card out of the computer, although, and this kind of, I didn't think about this last time because I'm keeping the Capture Card. I just took it out of the computer. Because, unfortunately, I just can't have them both. For anybody that doesn't remember the story last time, I don't have two PCI slots that are both big enough to have both of the cards in there.
Which is a problem with newer computers.
Like that's not going to get any better. But I like having the dual inputs.
Yeah.
Even though I ended up not even doing, the whole idea with that was that I was going to record my show like live to tape, as they say, and not have to edit it.
Yeah.
And I ended up not wanting to do that because I like the way I do it now, I record the gameplay footage on its own for each episode. And that way I have the gameplay footage for future use. Whereas the way I was doing it before, I wasn't generating any usable gameplay footage, outside what I was recording,
Right. So
how do you
overlays record that then?
Now I don't. I have like.
You do it live.
I don't anymore though.
But you don't record it as a scene. I'm saying you.
That's what
record the game footage. Yes. Okay. You record them all the separate sources as they're happening.
My camera just gets recorded on the SD card. The gameplay footage gets recorded in OBS, and I do the editing and afterwards, which really is not that much extra work. The editing, I don't know if you can tell, watching Weekend Rental episodes, not a whole lot of editing going on. So
that's what's good about it.
But I do like having the two inputs because that way I can switch to the because the camera is still plugged into the card. Because then I can switch, and that way I can see the camera on my monitor and make sure everything looks cool. And while I'm talking on camera, that's what's on the screen, so that while I'm talking, I can see everything looks good. And then I switch the input before I hit the record button before we start playing the game. But the reason I want to keep, and this is why I never should have gotten rid of the 4K capture card in the first place, is, you remember that, this is a Panasonic GH5 that I'm using now, but I also bought the GH4 so that I could have the two camera setup for like magazine read-throughs and whatnot. And I didn't know when I bought the GH4 that it was going to separate the video files out into little 4 gigabyte. Because that's really, I hate that. It's very annoying. But so now, if I'm going to record like a magazine read-through, then I can put the 4K capture card back in there and then have the GH4 go into my computer. And that way I can record it on there and get one big fat continuous file. And then I can still have the camera record to the SD card.
But you might not be able to do it if you can't record 4K directly.
No, it records 4K just fine. I have to use the AverMedia software. That's all.
Got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
I mean, it's easy enough to switch a card out in a computer. It's not a hassle. Plus, I mean, when's the last time I made a magazine read through? You know.
When is the last time?
It was November last year.
Oh, really? It's been a year since you've done one?
I haven't uploaded anything to the main channel in a year. Which, you know, that would bother me, but like I look at what Tim Rogers does and I'm like, hey man, if he can do it, I can do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't uploaded anything in a year.
Yeah. I'll be back, don't worry.
On the most recent Insert Credit podcast, he was hinting that he might have 6 videos like in the can.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Well, he's doing that LA Noir review video, so that should be cool.
But I think that's one of 6 that he's like been working on. I don't know. As far as I know, I don't know what the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I mean, I was working on another magazine read through, but
Game Fan #1, Volume 1, Issue 1.
No.
Game Masters issue number 2.
Not yet.
Volume 1, Issue 2.
But I don't know, man. I'm really having fun making weekend rentals.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the one I uploaded the other day to see the full-sized, the hot new. Instead of being in the corner, it was the size of the whole screen and it was on fire.
Oh no! It was on my phone and I was like making.
That's fine.
I was listening to it at the time, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. And I didn't get I was really worried I was going to get a copyright thing for the intro, and I didn't. So I'm very happy because I want to keep using that intro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, I like the other one you did.
Well, that's at the end now.
Okay.
Because like
the only thing I felt was weird about the other one is that it was at 6. Looked like it was at 60 FPS. I think it needs you need to render out that file as 24 because the original version of it would have been 24 FPS.
I can do that. That's easy.
I mean, I would just be curious because it felt unnaturally smooth. But I think that
I should try that with both then maybe.
Yeah, just export them as 24 FPS or put them in a 24 FPS timeline.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna try that.
I'd just be curious to see if it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Looks any different.
Think about that. But like, I remember like when I was a kid, that first intro I did, you know, the PBS style, you know, I remember that being played at the end of shows.
Okay.
Like you'd watch like, you know, Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers, and at the end you'd get that PBS logo with that little. It's not even a jingle. I don't know what you call it at the end. Whereas the new one that I made, the WGBH style intro, that would get played at the beginning of This Old House, which I used to watch when I was a kid with my mom. So
right.
So now they're where I want them to be, is what I'm saying.
But that's really cool. You know, it's cool that you had.
Well, I had to learn how to make that WGBH style one where it's like drawing the CGQ thing.
Did you do it in?
I did it in Apple Motion, which is like the Apple version of whatever the
After Effects.
That's what I was going to say, that, but I wasn't sure if that was correct. I had to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I need to see the flaming hot new on the cover, because now it makes me think that it almost looks like the flaming basketball on the cover of NBA Jam Tournament.
Kinda, yeah.
It was like metal.
And that's what, you know, that this whole hot new thing is like, I had never done like chroma keying or whatever before. Mm-hmm. So that's how my first experience with that.
And you're like, this is actually really annoying, probably.
No, I mean, at least in Final Cut Pro, it's super easy. Like I go on YouTube and I find like people will upload to YouTube like free to use. Like here's a green screen fire effect, like have at it. And so I just download that. And then like I put that in the timeline, and then there's just an effect you apply, the Final Cut effect, chroma key. And I don't have to adjust anything. I just drag it and drop it on there. The green disappears and I just have fire. It's perfect.
That is really cool. I want to see it now. I need to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy the 4K experience, and in a way it's
well, but it's both
renewing like an interest in certain things.
I mean, it's both. I've never had a 4K display like this for playing games, but I've also never had an OLED. Because like I was even just watching a football game the other day, and it wasn't in 4K, but but even just watching it on an OLED, I was just like, man, this looks really good. Like,
yeah,
I could see like the texture in the guy's shirt who was talking. I'm not making it up. I was like, wow, that's really crystal clear. But I was just watching it on YouTube TV, and I don't pay for 4K, so there's no way it was in 4K. It just looked a lot nicer than what I'm
curious
used to.
what 4K YouTube TV would look like.
I don't know. I was reading about it, and they were saying like they don't actually broadcast. YouTube TV at least doesn't broadcast that much sports in 4K yet, because that's the only reason I wanted this for sports. So
yeah,
it's the only reason to watch TV is for sports.
Is it kind of nice not having to deal with doing that on your iPad? In a way?
Watching TV?
Yeah.
No,
you just turn it on while you're doing something else.
You know, like if it's like Monday Night Football, for example, you know, because I live on the West Coast, so Monday Night Football is at 5:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to have the iPad in the kitchen while I'm cooking.
Yeah,
because like, you know, like when we were kids, it wasn't uncommon. People would have TVs in their kitchens, like a little tiny one, you know.
Yeah,
but you know, now
my in-laws had one, you know, up until when they moved into their new house.
Yeah. I just say it's nice to have the option, you know, like if I really want to watch something, I can come down here and have a nice display. But, you know, for the most part, I'm still happy just watching on an iPad, because usually I'm not singularly focused. If I have a football game on, you know, unless it's like the 49ers playing, unless it's like the 49ers beating the living shit out of the Philadelphia Eagles, that's got my full attention. Sorry for the cussing, but
that's all right.
That was a little bit cathartic.
I already broke the seal at the beginning.
You kind of did, yeah.
Anyways, so it's just going to be a cuss fest.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think is like? I mean, did you ever just say like swear words, cuss words, or what's like another word for it? I had it.
Well,
in my
cuss
mind.
words, curse words, or swear words.
Curse words. That's it.
Is the only ones I could think of.
Yeah. What did you ever? We always said, oh, you use swear words.
Like when we were kids, you mean?
Yeah.
We called it cussing.
Called it cussing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny, when I was a kid, I feel like, I mean, I'm talking about like elementary school. We were all cussing, right? Like if it was just us out in the playground or whatever, we were cussing up a storm. And it was like one of our biggest fears was our parents hearing us do that. Like you were gonna catch a serious whooping if your parents heard you dropping an F-bomb or something, even though we were all doing it.
What's funny about that is, and I see it in my kids too, is that I like never sweared. I didn't swear like around my friends or anything like that. I was like, I was really big on not swearing.
Yeah.
And as a 44-year-old adult with 2 kids who feel that same way, you know, like don't swear or anything like that, or at least they pretend like they don't.
Yeah.
Or like every time somebody says something, they're like, oh, my favorite thing right now is to like drop an occasional swear word.
Yeah.
And because that like it gets their attention.
Oh, you mean like if you're trying to like lay down the law kind of thing?
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, I'll drop like just, you know, at the very worst, you know, I'm like, I'm sick of this shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, like we'll drop that, and then it's kind of like, then they know I mean business.
Well, I mean, that's how it was, I think, when we were kids. Like if you did something bad enough that I know that's not going to be a universal experience. Like some people's parents just cussed a lot, but like mine didn't. Like if you did something bad enough that your mom or dad was scolding you and was peppering the scolding with cuss words of any kind, like you kind of knew, like your parent was in a whole nother gear.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I never really thought about that until I started doing it. And the thing that I realize now as an adult in that situation is it's a very intentional thing. It's not just like something that slips out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to say this so that they know I'm real serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, it's funny because, you know, it's just, it's a strategic thing.
Yeah. All right, so the RetroTink and all that stuff was actually the majority of what I had on my list. So do you?
Oh yeah.
You want to hit me with something off yours there?
So I'm surprised you weren't asking whether or not I've listened to your mini disc.
Oh, I don't want my heart broken anymore. I can't take it anymore.
No, I did exactly what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
Is I plugged these headphones directly into the mini disc player, turned down the lights, turn off all stimulation, put my phone on the other side of the basement.
So you really gave your full attention to this mini disc, yeah.
And I loved it.
Really?
I loved it. Yeah, and I've been listening to them on iTunes.
Yeah.
A whole bunch.
Well, there's a guy in my Discord called Tanuki Tom who's going to be very happy to hear this.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's if I may look at my phone, I can tell you like what So
I know we don't
your
normally
stuff
look at our
was-
phones, but I think I'm gonna allow it this time because this is exciting.
Well, I mean, I just want to tell you like we're just going to tell you like what I had marked as like my favorite.
Yeah.
So I ended up like I only added the double nickels on the dime.
Oh, good.
To my playlist, and there's like a lot of there's other stuff too on there.
Oh,
right?
yeah, but that was kind of I think Tanuki Tom took a little bit of umbrage with me even making you the mixtape because he was saying you should just listen to double nickels.
Yeah, it's I feel like that is with having 43 songs on it.
Yeah,
it's something like. You just got to listen to it a lot because it seems like you'll constantly being like, I never picked up on this before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full 80 minutes. And like if you listen to the CD version, they had to cut a couple things out. Like if you buy it on vinyl, that's the only way to listen to the whole thing because it's so long.
Really? So that's interesting. So I appreciated like you putting like the little sound bites in there, kind of like a 90s movie soundtrack.
That's true. I guess I didn't want to say anything because I wanted you to listen to it first. Can I explain to the folks at home what I did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a documentary movie about Minutemen called We Jam Econo. And so I got that movie and I took little sound clips out of it's all like interviews and stuff. I took little sound clips in there and I put it between the songs, some of the songs, to just kind of help. That way, because he's listening to Minutemen for the first time. And so then that way, it's like you get to learn a little bit about the band, while you're listening to it. So, and then a couple of the songs in there are acoustic versions of their songs from We Jam Econo that I put on your. I Felt Like a Gringo and History Lesson Part 2 are both from We Jam Econo.
Okay, because
those are not normally acoustic. Well, I guess probably History Lesson Part 2 kind of is, but.
Well, that's
so
that's just an acoustic version of that song.
Yeah, like they went on like public access TV in LA somewhere and did a whole acoustic set. And so those two songs are from that set.
Okay.
Because you had mentioned that's how we started is I showed you I Felt Like a Gringo and you liked it. But then I didn't want to just put the regular song on there because you'd already listened to it. So I put the acoustic version on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, either way, like I think it's great, and like I marked off some of my favorites.
Did you watch? Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting. Did you happen to watch? Because I tried to put little stuff in the text that would show on the screen.
No, I
because like at the end. Sorry, I guess also to explain to the folks at home, like at the end, I put 3 songs on there. One of them was Mike Watt playing a cover of political song for Michael Jackson to sing, where like Eddie Vedder is on the guitar and William Goldschmidt's playing the drums. And so I put that in the text so that you'd see that.
Oh, okay.
So that's like how I
did not notice that until like
because I had explained to you how like Mike Watt went on tour and like like Dave Grohl and Eddie Vedder and William Goldschmidt went with him because they just loved him so much, and so that was on there. And then I put 2 songs from one of Mike Watt's albums. One of them sung by Eddie Vedder, and the other one from the singer of Lemon Drops?
Lemonheads.
Lemonheads.
Evan Dando.
Yeah. Evan Dando. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I've had Piss Bottle Man like
It's
like
such a
in
good
my head
song,
like
though.
all day.
It's
great. It's great.
It's
And
about
the
passing
thing is, like,
stuff
I really
down to
like,
your son. You know.
yeah, he might appreciate it.
His dad taught him to have a piss bottle in the car for long car rides.
I mean, that's exactly the situation that we run into with my son.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've talked about that. Like, my son has the bladder of an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Well, he is 8. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done interrupting. So please,
no,
go ahead.
I mean, a lot of these are the songs that you put on there. You know, what is really funny to me is sometimes I'm like, oh, gee, like just listening to this, you can hear like how influential they are to like literally every band that came afterwards. I guess, you know, just like so many, just riffs. You know, it's just in the way that, you know, where the singing is just like sometimes talking and sometimes not, you know. It's just, you just hear so many things that it's like, oh, I thought that I don't know, whoever came afterwards just like thought of this or whatever, but you can hear like that influence is like, oh my God, I can't believe that just about everything that I like, probably this was like the spark for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like Expected I'm Gone is like, I really like that. I just love the bass, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so like fuzzy and pronounced. And you know what, like that bass part, it almost sounds like, it would be in a Mega Man level music.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. It's like weird.
I mean, just to explain to the folks at home there, like it's the bass line is like, it's like when you play slap bass, you slap the low strings, but usually you'll use like your pinky or your ring finger to hook around the higher strings. So you lift them up, and when you let them go, they slap into the fretboard, and that's what that is.
Yeah, and it's like,
it gives it like a real sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool. I like that a lot. I like, what is it? Do you want New Wave or Do you want the Truth?
Yeah, do you want New Wave or Do you want the Truth? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Because, of course, at that time, New Wave was very popular, and punk was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Glory of Man.
Yeah.
And History Lesson Part 2. Those are my
Glory
favorite.
of Man is Mike Watt's favorite Minutemen song.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
You should watch.
I want to watch that documentary though. Now
they put
is it
together,
like on YouTube?
Yeah, you can watch it on. I can send you the link. I actually meant to send you. I was going to send you a USB drive with all their music and like high res.
I
then I was like, I can just upload it to your thing, so I don't really need to send it to you. So I can still do that. I have the digital file of the documentary I can send you. Anyway, there's like a band that Mike Watt put together called the Second Men that just plays down in like down the LA area, but they play like Minutemen covers.
Yeah.
But I forgot the guy's name, but like there's not a guitarist. Like all of D. Boone's guitar parts are played by this guy who has like an organ. And then he also sings. But dude, he like shreds. And so you can find on their YouTube videos of like they're playing in like a bookstore, right? Because they can't really draw a crowd. But they're playing The Glory of Man in a bookstore, and this guy who looks like Commander Riker has like the organ, and it's just really cool.
That's cool. I think that I'm very impressed, and you know, I think that some of the reasons I like History Lesson Part 2, and I think that the reason
there is a History Lesson Part 1.
Glory of Man, I think that is like, I think that they are like slower.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like that is so rare.
Yeah,
in all these songs that it's kind of like, oh, this is a nice little slow song for a minute and 20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice breather, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, you know, I think that's the just how basically intense everything is all the time. I found that it's really good for working. If I'm like working on something.
Yeah.
Or shooting B-roll or something like that. I've been alternating between that and like a lo-fi, like music to work to type music, which is also, you know, basically like the whole point of it is like music that you can ignore.
Yeah. Well, so if I can make one more suggestion, I don't know what Tanuki Tom would have to say about this one, but since you've been listening to Double Nickels, I don't know if this is a hot take or whatever. Double Nickels is the better album, but they have another album called What Makes a Man Start Fires.
Okay.
And I almost feel like that's a better Minutemen album, but Double Nickels is a better album, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to...
Like, I listen to that one over and over again all the time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will definitely add that to my library and listen to them. I mean, I got that, and I got Ball Hog or Tugboat.
Mm-hmm.
I added both of them. So, thank you. Like, I think that this... So, what I was going to say, though, how you put all those... the sound bites in there.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard when he was talking about touring with REM and he was calling him Michael Snipe.
Yeah.
And the other guy, like, briefly tries to, like, correct him.
Called it Stipe, yeah.
Michael
like,
Snipe.
I don't know if you even noticed, like, I had the clip of, like, you know, Mike Watt talking about how D-Boon's mom made him play bass. And then, like, the next song is Bob Dylan wrote propaganda songs that starts with that strong bass line. And then I have like the East Germany plays after that because it's got the awesome drum track on it.
Okay,
I put a lot of thought into that. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry that it didn't like really as of yet, but I'm gonna be listening to it a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for listening to it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And you know.
Hey, speaking of things
at the very least, everyone should go listen to Piss Bottle Man.
Oh my God, it's so good. Piss Bottle Man.
I like Evan Dando's voice.
I don't even really like the other song that much. The Eddie Vedder sings. Like I just thought you'd 70s. Be excited about it because Eddie Vedder's singing. Other than that, it's like, Piss Bottle Man's way better.
Is that you know, it immediately, because I wasn't looking at the track names or anything like that. So when that came on, I was like, oh, what is? Like, is that Eddie Vedder?
Yeah,
and then
it is Eddie Vedder.
What I think is so funny about that song is like how it trolls you at the end.
Oh yeah, like it fades out and then comes back.
Yeah, and then it just like hard stops.
I think it's because like they would always talk about like they considered like back in the Minutemen days, like having fade outs in your songs was like something that pop music did.
Yes,
and so they would talk about that like, oh, we're gonna do fade, because then they finally did their album that was specifically meant to sound commercial, and Project Mersh, and that one has fade outs in it, you know, because like, well, we're trying to sound commercial, so put in the fade. So I kind of feel like them doing that, or Mike Watt doing that in that song, having it fade out and come back, it's trolling specifically the idea of fade outs.
Yeah. Well, I always heard I don't remember exactly where I heard it the first time, but you know, saying, If your song fades out, that just means you don't know how to end a song.
Maybe.
And you don't know.
I can imagine it's got to be
music.
Difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like writing a song already is hard, and it's like, well, how do I end it?
Well, then you think about how do you do it live? You can't fade out when you're live. How do you do it when you're live?
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it. You know, I want to stay on the music thing for like a minute because I just want to propose a little question for you.
Sure.
And I don't know if you even care.
Probably not.
Or like what
do
this
I care
like
about it?
if this has anything. This has nothing to do with what we just talked about.
Yeah.
But I've had this in my like bouncing around in my head.
Yeah.
And I want to know what you think is the better song.
Between what?
Between.
I'm sorry. You have a list. Okay. You just kind of stopped and looked at me. And, all right.
I wanted to have 3 to make it a slap or yeet it.
Damn it.
But I just want to hear like what you think is a better song. And you might not like either one of them, but I think that both are timeless and are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So first I have Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Okay.
And the other one is You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes.
Man.
I know. It's like I've been like going back and forth in my head about this because I feel like they both might be like basically perfect songs in a way.
I mean, I feel like here's the thing with You Can't Hurry Love is like I don't remember hearing the Supremes version when I was a kid. Because you remember, I don't know if that, I think that was just Phil Collins, right? That wasn't like Genesis is not doing that. That got played on the radio a lot, like when I was in elementary school. And I didn't hear the Supremes version until later.
And then when you hear the Supremes version, you're like, this is so much better.
Well, I mean, I'm not a Phil Collins hater, but yeah, how are you not going to say the Supremes version's, not better?
I absolutely agree. Like, I just think that the Supremes version is so much better in every single way. And I like Phil Collins also.
Oh man, I mean, I feel like Genesis and Phil Collins was like the soundtrack to my childhood. So
yeah,
when people make fun of Phil Collins, I don't care, but I'm just like, okay, that's good for you. But as someone who grew up in the '80s, like nobody was talking smack about Phil Collins in the '80s. Like that was all over the radio, Well, probably punkers were talking smack, but I don't think Minutemen were listening to too much Phil Collins. But all right, but anyway, I got to say, after everything you just said, I can't not give it to Dancing Queen.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy choice.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't think that there's...
Like, I can get Dancing Queen stuck in my head for a good long time. Like, it's going to be stuck in there now, so thank you. But You Can't Hurry Love, I don't know. I don't know that I would get that one stuck in there.
Oh, see, that one's... Oh, here comes... Yeah?
Goodness. Is this Fortnite related again?
I'm doing the podcast right now. You can do that stuff, and I'll take care of your thing afterwards.
This about dinosaur-shaped chicken tenders?
No.
That's too bad. I could go for some of those right now.
I don't know. Do you want to come say hi? Just going to come say hi now. We've had both kids making guest appearances.
Oh, this is the other one.
I didn't know you were... Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
I just got back from dance.
Oh, yeah? How'd that go?
Ask her what she thinks about Dancing Queen by ABBA.
Oh, yeah. Are you familiar with the song Dancing Queen by ABBA?
Wait, is it... I think I might know what it is.
You know what it is.
Maybe?
Well, it's a good song.
Okay.
All right.
What?
I landed on my head in dance.
Oh, my God.
It hurt. It hurt.
Are you all right?
You seem like you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got on your shirt there? Terry's Ice Cream? What else is on there? Oh, wow. Is that like a joke shirt, or is that like a local place you can get ice cream?
That crazy milkshake.
It's a real place.
What's crazy about the milkshake?
Well,
what was the milkshake you got from there? They had Monty's had a huge piece of cake.
Yeah,
in it.
It had a piece of cake on it, and mine, I think I got.
I don't remember what you got. I got the big one.
It's kind of weird that I don't even remember what I got.
I feel like if you liked it, you'd remember.
I feel like I know that Mom got this big ice cream sundae.
Yeah.
And that you got the cookie.
Yeah, it's like a giant cookie in it.
What did I get?
Don't worry about it. We don't have time to look it up. We don't look stuff up on this.
That's
podcast.
a rule. We can't look things up.
We never look up stuff unless.
Oh.
But you could look it up and and then tell us later though. That's fine.
I'm not tall enough.
Well, at some point you probably will be.
I'm on my tippy toes.
Just look at. You can see yourself right there.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
All right. You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, I was going to tell you, just since we're sort of, trying to wrap up or, tie a bow around things that, open issues that we have on the show. Like you finally listened to the mix, mini disc.
Yeah.
I've still got your chili
Oh.
And part of the no, I haven't eaten it yet. But so part of the problem with that is just like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I overthink things. I'm like, oh, my wife's not going to want to have anything to do with this. And so I'm like, well, I got to wait until my wife's not around and I'll make chili dogs or whatever. But then the other day, we were sitting at the table, we were eating hot dogs. I mean, hot dogs is like one of my favorite foods. So like if I could, I'd eat hot dogs at least 3 times a week. Yeah. And so we're eating hot dogs and I mentioned to her, I'm like, we got to try making chili dogs out of some of the chili that Coury sent. And I thought she was spaghetti, I thought she was going to shoot me down, but not at all. She's like, oh yeah, we should definitely do that. So that's happening now.
I'm that makes me curious. I mean, I have no idea what kind of things she
let me ask,
likes.
Well, I don't know why. I think sometimes I just think that my wife is like pickier or snobbier than she actually is, and I don't know why I think that. But I was going to ask, so you sent me 3 cans of chili.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, if I were to say to you, I'm going to make chili dogs out of 1 can, and I'm going to put another can as a separate meal on spaghetti, do you have any thoughts on, like, oh, you should use this one for this and that one?
Well, one of them I don't. It's the Gold Star, Skyline, and something else, and I wasn't familiar with the other one. I just got one of all of them.
From here, I can't see them, so
it doesn't really matter.
See the Skyline.
I would put the Skyline on spaghetti, with like a big mound of cheddar cheese. That's how you should like look up how you like have it proper, because you got to put so much cheddar cheese on it. And I'd do the Gold Star like on a chili dog. You can even do it like on a hamburger if you want. I've heard people like put it on hamburgers and stuff.
No, I'm probably not going to do that, but. So if I make a chili dog out of it, do I put other toppings? Does that also get cheddar cheese?
You got to put a bunch of cheddar cheese on it,
and that's it. Like no onions.
And if you're making the hot dogs, you gotta boil the hot dogs. You can't.
Well, I only boil hot dogs. That's the only correct way to prepare a hot dog.
And you got to steam the buns.
Yeah,
beforehand.
I know. Yeah, that's the correct way to do both of those things.
Like I didn't even realize was something that is done, and then once we had them, then my kids are like only want to eat hot dogs like that.
Well, I just don't understand. Like I'm not trying to judge people. You do whatever you want, but the whole idea of like barbecuing, like grilling a hot dog, I just don't get it. Like a sausage, sure, but like a hot dog,
right?
I mean, you can steam a hot dog too. It's the same. It's functionally the same thing, really, as boiling one. But
I'm excited to hear your review.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it.
I mean, both of your reviews. Like, I want to hear.
Yeah,
I want you to like tell me what your wife says about it. Yeah. Because what if it's like, holy cow, this is really good.
I mean, that would make me happy.
We should move there.
I want to have,
or we should go visit.
I'd go visit.
Yeah.
Great. But I would love it if she likes it, because if I can somehow use that to work more hot dogs into our.
Yeah, you could order cans of it online probably then.
It was the weirdest thing. I went to, I don't know if you have do you have Grocery Outlet there? Is that a national chain? I don't even know.
A grocery? Oh, this actually called Grocery Outlet?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but you must have something else similar. But it's like an
Aldi. Is the same thing as Aldi?
I don't think so. I think it's worse. It's like it's stores that order too much stuff, or like stuff that's going to go out of code soon. Gets sent to like Grocery Outlet. And I love going in there because you don't know what you're going to find. It's next to the hardware store. I'm always going to the hardware store, and I'm just like, I'm going to pop in a Grocery Outlet real quick, because you just never know. Sometimes you just find like really amazing deals on stuff in there. And so I always go check the hot dogs, because sometimes they have like really good like Hebrew National hot dogs, stuff like that. And they had this brand of hot dog. I don't remember the name, but you probably know it, because it said on the package that it's the official hot dog of the Cincinnati Reds. But I didn't get them because they were like way too cheap. I'm like, did these get like left in the back of a tractor trailer that broke down on the side of the highway for a week? Like, how are you selling hot dogs that cheap? So I didn't
even
get
know
them.
What they would be.
I don't know. Well, someone has to Google it out there. What's the official hot dog of the Cincinnati Reds?
It's stupid that I don't know it, but
I mean, I don't know what the official hot dog of the San Francisco Giants is, so we're even. I know what it should be. It should be Casper's. I bet it's not. The Giants, not the Reds. Hey, I'm drinking, we talked about this already before on the show, Sam Smith's Nut Brown Ale.
Yeah.
because I said that it reminds me of old school Newcastle. I bought a whole case. I had to special order it at the store.
Really?
A whole
Can you
case.
get like I wonder if they would do like you pay every month and they send you a case.
Well, I don't know, but it was funny because so I ordered the case and they give you a discount if you buy a case, so that's nice.
Mm.
But then like I go to pick it up and I don't know why the lady was just like, oh yeah, here's the beer, and then she's like, I think because they carry Samuel Smith's beer at the store, they just don't have Nut Brown Ale. But I guess just because I ordered a case, she's like, yeah, I think I want to start carrying this in the store. Like which format do you want me to stock it in? Because you can get it, like this is a normal human size bottle, but then you can get it in the larger bottle. And it also comes in a 4-pack of cans, just like Guinness, where it's like bigger cans.
Yeah. And
she's just asking me like, well, which one do you want me to keep in stock? And I'm like, I said, I don't even care. I'll just be, if you have any of them, I'm happy. Like I'm going to buy whatever you decide on.
But if it's up to you now it's up to you. So you have to have an answer.
Well, I
right?
just told her the only thing they have, all the Samuel Smith's beer they have is all in the larger bottles where you just buy one bottle for like $3.50 or whatever it is. Right. And so I just said to her, I'm like, well, that's how you have all the other Sam Smith's beer. So maybe it just makes more sense to just get those.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do if if her job was my job, that's what I would do. But
yeah,
it's all the same beer, so I don't care how she has it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. She even asked for your input.
Yeah. I was excited. And the idea that she's going to carry it, I was excited. It was also kind of funny to me though, because I bought this so it's 24 bottles of beer, right? It's a whole case of beer. And, but I don't know I just feel like at this point, I don't drink that much beer anymore. Like I drank this one and I'm probably not going to have another one, like that's it for the day. But I was telling someone today, I told someone at work that I bought this case, and I was mentioning how like during sort of the height of the pandemic where everybody was like in stay home mode. Yeah. I had to drive over to Sacramento and do this work related thing. Like I had to go field sampling. And it happened to be right next to kind of like this bougie grocery store.
Yeah.
And so I would go in there because it was still open. I'd walk in there and they had a really good beer selection there. And one of my favorite brands of beer is it's called Weihenstephaner. And obviously it's from Germany. They make just very, very good beer. And at this bougie grocery store, they were selling these cases where it's kind of like Costco style, where it was a case of beer, but it was 4 6-packs, and it was 4 different 6-packs. It was like a variety pack.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And like a 6-pack of Weihenstephaner is like $14. So it's not cheap beer. They were selling these cases for like $22. So
dang,
hugely cheap compared to buying.
Yeah.
So I'd go in there and buy a case. And then, I would drink it. Like the next week, I'd have to go back over there to get some more air samples, and I would buy another case, bring it home. And finally, at some point, I was like, this is stupid. And so I just went and found the beer guy at the store, and I was just like, listen, man, how many of these cases do you have in the back? And he's like, I don't know, I'll be right back. And he goes in the back, comes back out, he's like, there's 5 left. And I was just like, bring them out. And so he just brought out all 5 cases, and I brought them home. And right here in the basement in the corner where Tony Huck is over, Steve Caballero, where his board is over here, I had 5 cases of beer stacked up. And it didn't last that long. And I say that as somebody who never drinks enough that I get drunk. It was just that much of a consistent beer drinking that I went through those 5 cases plus the 2 cases I bought before that in not that much time. But then now I just have a beer and I'm like good,
Yeah. I want to know about the skateboard that you have over there. Why do you have?
Have I never shown that? Or I mean, it's been in the background in some videos, but it's not anymore just because of the. Well, I don't want to get up and go get it, but well, I don't know. Can I? Well, I'm not gonna do that. But it's an old, Steve Caballero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had, one of his. I forgot. I think that's a Powell Peralta board, right? Wasn't that? Let me just go get it. Sorry. Entertain the folks at home for a minute. I like how I told you to entertain the folks at home, and you decided to sit there in complete silence. So sorry if you're driving in your car right now and you're. Did it go out? Anyway, yes, it's Palo Peralta. So, many years ago, I took some scrap wood to the dump, landfill, if you like.
Yeah.
And it's always hard, man. You go to the dump, and I always see more stuff I want to take home with me than what. I mean, people throw out stuff where I'm just like, I can't believe you're throwing that out. And anyway, so I'm dumping. There's a special. I don't know how dumps work in other places. Where I live, you go to the dump. There's like a little booth you pull up to. They're like, well, what do you have? And you tell them what you have. They look in the back of your truck. Okay. And if you got to pay, it depends on what you have, if you pay or not. And they tell you where to go. If it's just straight up garbage, then you take it to the landfill. But there's other things, like if it's like green waste, that doesn't go in the landfill. If it's like construction waste or like lumber, stuff like that, that goes somewhere else. Because I don't know what happens to it, but whatever. So I go there and I'm like, yeah, I got some lumber or whatever. And like, okay, go over to whatever, follow the orange sign or whatever, And so I go and I pull up, I back my truck into like the pile and I'm taking this stuff out of the truck and I see this sitting there. So I'll turn it around there.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's like an original, I don't know what year. What is that? 1987. Steve Caballero Palo Peralta board. No trucks and wheels, just the board. It's not, I mean, it's a little bit beat up. Like I'm not sure I would say someone should write it. But I mean, that's iconic, man. That's the only thing I'd rather find than that than like a Tony Hawk board with the hawk skull on it, And it's just sitting there. But I'm at the dump, right? And so I'm like looking around, like, if I pick this up and like throw it in the back of my truck, is someone going to come out and yell at me? I don't even know. So I just grabbed it and stuffed it in the cab of the car real quick,
Yeah.
And so I just brought it. I mean, you can see it's well used, which I think makes it cooler.
Well, yeah,
but it's funny because not only the truck's gone, but these would have had these plastic strips here and up here. That's gone. But all I did was like I vacuumed it off to get all the dust off and the dirt off of it, and I just hung it on the wall because I just think
I like that you just used the zip tie to go through there. It's very
well because that way, see the back. That's how I hang it.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like it just works out perfectly, and it's perfectly centered too. That is really cool. I've never really been to a dump before.
How do you get rid of stuff that you can't just throw in your garbage toter?
I find a place that I can take it to, but it's usually not a dump. It's just like if there's like a waste place, like an e-waste place or something like that. Or
I just had, we had like, we used to have a chicken coop in the backyard. We don't want chickens anymore. So like I demolished the chicken coop.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lumber. You got to take it to the dump.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just never been in a situation where I've needed to.
Oh.
I think that when my mom was moving out of her house, she went to the dump a lot. And I think about all my that's where all my game magazines are, probably in that landfill now.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up, or bring up bad memories. Hey, I got last time on the show, we were talking about power tools. It was supposed to arrive today. It didn't. Maybe tomorrow. I got a new jigsaw coming because I have a really crappy jigsaw. So I got a.
You're going all crazy with this stuff, and you built like a house for a stray cat.
For a cat that doesn't even like me. Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't like you, but will eat your food.
Yeah.
If you put that food out there.
Well, he has his reasons. Like, I don't want to make it sound like he's just some like jerk cat. Like, he has legitimate reasons for hating my wife, and then I think I'm just like guilty by association.
Yeah.
But yeah, he eats our food.
It's not like you. It's the very house that you live in.
Yes. But I mean, he's old, and it's cold right now, and I feel bad for him, and so I'm like, well, let me just build a house, little house for him, and put it out there, and if he wants to use it, he can. I mean, really, for me, it was just like I just want to build something. Like my wife was like, "Yes, you should build him a house," but I just wanted to build something.
It won't make him love you. Make them.
That's okay.
Love you.
I'm fine with that. Because the thing is, like, if he ended up getting all attached to me, and like if he started like rubbing our legs when we went outside, then I would feel bad about like not bringing him in the house, and I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pretty comfortable with our relationship where it is. Like, I have a cat already. I don't know where I assumed she was going to come down here. She was so happy.
And right now your cat is oblivious to the fact that you might be slightly cheating on.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. She is actually in love with him.
Oh.
She stares
They're
at him
like-
out the window, but not, normally a cat stares at another cat out the window. There's like growling. Or
They're dating.
Well, I think she wants to. He doesn't care, but she's like, that's one of his nicknames. That's Lady Bird's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. They're dating, but he just doesn't know it yet.
Right.
But
It's like that Death Cab song, I'll possess your heart,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Never thought about the words.
Oh, it's about a stalker. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a creepy song, but I mean, it's very well written. Oh,
I think it's funny though. Oh, yes.
No, go ahead.
I've got nothing. I was just making.
I was going to
idle
switch
chit-chat.
gears.
Yeah, switch it.
But I mean, unless I don't want, I feel like every time we end the episode, you're like, well, I still had like 9 things on my list, but
No, I could look
apparently.
back to see where I was at because I thought I had some like last time. Last time we recorded was like a month ago. Has it been a month?
that doesn't sound right. I thought it'd been like 3 weeks.
It looks like we may have
By the way, I believe we've
the
now,
week of 11, like the 5th to the 11th.
we've passed 50,000 downloads, by the way,
Oh, really?
on the podcast. That doesn't include the YouTube half. So it's more. I'm saying
Okay.
audio alone we're over 50,000 now.
Well, are people right now, are they listening to episode 48?
This is 49.
49. So
49.
next one's the number 50.
Like
That means we're halfway
49 is in the San Francisco 49ers, who just completely demolished the Philadelphia Eagles and what was supposed to be a good game. So I don't know what happened there. Like I was all
Yeah.
excited I was sad. I'm like, I didn't even buy snacks for the game. And then I was watching the game, like, this game's not worthy of snacks. Like, I don't know where the Eagles are, but they didn't show
They're
up.
not playing.
Yeah. So speaking of food, which I know is not one of your favorite topics, but I don't know. I don't even know, because I feel like we've sort of touched on this stuff before, but I feel, and I'm not alone. I asked somebody else about this, and they agreed with me. I feel like this year on social media, and I even saw it on like some shows, it seemed like this was the year of like talking trash about Thanksgiving food.
Definitely, I saw a lot of people like talking about it. And I think, I don't know if this was the basis for that, but I saw some poll or something about how turkey is basically the second from the bottom of favorite foods.
Yeah.
And it just got me thinking about, I wonder how many people have turkey for Thanksgiving out of obligation and just like society, like societal norms and like how tradition.
I think
and how many people actually even like
a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. I love turkey. Like, you have to know how to make it. And if you don't make anybody that's like, oh, turkey's so dry, you're not having a properly prepared turkey. Because if you don't do it right, that's dry turkey is the result of not doing it right. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if I was to make a educated guess, I would guess that most people making a turkey are not doing it right.
Yeah, I would say so. Including when I was growing up, most people making the turkey that I was eating were not doing it right. So
yeah, it's just and that's okay. Nobody needs to feel bad about it.
No, you shouldn't accept. I think it drives me nuts because part of it is what drives me nuts is it's just everything today is just so much negativity. And listen, I get on the show and I like to complain about stuff and be a crotchety old man, but it's just like negativity creates clicks, and so like if you decide, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to talk about how crappy Thanksgiving food is, you're just going to get more engagement than if you say, hey, you know what I like is mashed potatoes and gravy. That's delicious. People are going to be like, okay, that's good for you, and move on. And so it kind of bothers me for that reason. But I also just feel like it's almost like people's default, headspace is just to be negative. Because like one of the things I saw was like I think I've talked before. I don't really like sports talk. I don't pay attention to sports talk radio, sports talk TV, with the exception of I watch a lot of the Rich Eisen show. Like, I love Rich Eisen. He doesn't yell. He's not one of these like, oh, I'm an alpha dog kind of annoying, sports talk host kind of guys. And so I really enjoy watching his show and hearing his takes on things. And just for fun, during Thanksgiving week, they had because there's 4 guys on the show. Like, obviously he's the main host, but there's 3 other guys in the room. And they had sort of a round table. What's your Thanksgiving hot take? Just for fun, And for 3 of them, it was something negative. Like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate the other thing. And only one guy was, his hot take was that sweet potato pie is better than pumpkin pie. Which, that's not negative. It's not like he said pumpkin pie sucks or pumpkin pie is trash. He was just saying, I think sweet potato, because sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie in a lot of ways are very similar. But and I agree with him. And I love pumpkin pie, but I'm not going to pretend like sweet potato pie is not better. It's just, at least where I live, it's impossible. You got to cook it yourself. You're not finding, you're not going to the store and buying a sweet potato pie. But the other 3 guys were just I hate stuffing or I hate cranberry sauce, and for both of those things, it's if you've only ever had cranberry sauce out of a can, then I can see why, you wouldn't like it, or if your idea of stuffing is buying the box where you're just making wallpaper paste and you don't like it, I don't blame you, but maybe you've never had the good stuff that you have to make yourself,
Yeah. I'm going to probably say something really insane right now, but I've never had cranberry sauce.
I don't know.
On Thanksgiving.
I don't think that's...
I know that is on that list where people said turkey was the bottom, or almost the bottom. Cranberry sauce was at the top. And the reason I've never had it is because I just thought it looked gross being shaped like the can.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the worst way to have cranberry sauce is out of a can, but that's
a lot of people really like it like that.
And if you like it that way, then great. I'm not trying to say oh, you're stupid. No, if you like cranberry sauce out of a can, God bless you. If you've only had cranberry sauce out of a can and you don't like it, then try having better, make it yourself. Well, it's 3 ingredients in cranberry sauce. It's very easy to make it fresh.
There's very few things that are can shaped like that and maintain that shape.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, tomato soup used to do that too.
Yes.
The Campbell's tomato soup.
Yes.
And then you had to add water or milk to it.
Right.
It was just the concentrate or whatever,
Yeah.
And it would come out shaped like the can.
Campbell's condensed soup, they call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they've obviously changed.
But yeah,
that,
it's you have to add. It's you have the one can with the soup in it, and you pour that out, and then you fill the can back up with, as you say, milk or water, and add that, and then you have proper strength soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love tomato soup. I've always loved it.
Yeah.
And there's just something about that cranberry sauce that just grosses me out.
Well, because it's people and this is a normal way to serve it is they'll just get it out of the can, get it to kind of slide out of there onto a plate, and they'll just slice it up and here you go. You could at least put it in a bowl and mix it up and mash it so it doesn't look.
But I think that it being served that way is now the tradition.
I guess.
People have made that. The very image of cranberry sauce shaped like the can,
I get
and
that.
sitting on a table and sliced like that.
I get that.
Is the iconic cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm saying if that's how you've had it and you don't like it, if you have it that way and you like it, then you're good. You're just eat that and be happy.
But I'm not trying it specifically because it looks like
right.
that.
And so all I'm telling you is either buy good cranberry. I don't want to say good. I'm not trying to say it's bad. Buy fresh cranberry sauce or just make your own cranberry sauce because it's extremely easy to make. And then it's better. And it's the same thing. People say oh, pumpkin pie is horrible. That was Rich Eisen's take. Pumpkin pie is trash. But my thing with that. Okay, but hold on. Because I've been going through a whole pie thing for 2 weeks. You don't even know what I got going on around here. Pumpkin pie for me has a high ceiling and a low floor. meaning that like really good pumpkin pie is amazing, really bad pumpkin pie is disgusting. Whereas like to me, like apple pie is like the safest pie. And I like apple pie, but I'm saying like even pretty bad apple pie, still pretty good. As long as like, you know, if the crust isn't cooked correctly or something, well then okay. But, you know, assuming that it was at least prepared competently, you know, a very mediocre apple pie, it's like pizza or Chinese food. Like it's still pretty good. I mean, like a $5 Little Caesars hot and ready pizza, let's be honest, it's still pretty tasty, you know?
Yeah, especially if you were in the state of mind where you're considering getting one of those $5 pizzas.
Yeah.
Like you're going in with those expectations, and it's going to deliver every single time.
But I would say like an apple pie, like the best apple pie I ever had was still like, it was good, you know, like a fresh, not fresh out of the oven, but still warm from the oven, like Dutch crumble crust apple pie is pretty good. But it's not the best pie I've ever had. And so I'm saying like if your experience with pumpkin pie is like, oh, I got the disgusting pumpkin pie from Costco, and based on that, I don't like pumpkin pie. But it's not even what I'm here to talk about. If you don't like Thanksgiving food, that's fine. It was just like, to me, and I mentioned this, you know, on the last episode of my show, Thanksgiving is like my favorite holiday, and it's really like a lot of it is about the food. Like I love Thanksgiving food. And like it just seems like, you know, if the cool kid thing to do this year was to talk about how much Thanksgiving food sucks, that's kind of sad. And it's like, if you don't like Thanksgiving food, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Well, some parents might be forcing their kids.
Well,
to
if
eat
you're kids,
I'm not gonna eat this
talking
thing
about
all by
grown-ass
myself.
adults talking about this stuff.
I mean, but you said that the Thanksgiving is all about the three F's.
Three F's. Yep. Food, football, and family in that order.
And
I'm just saying, if I think about Thanksgiving, okay, there's like turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy and maybe some stuffing and like some vegetables on the table. I've got a football game running on the TV, and then maybe I've got some family in my house. Which of those things can I get rid of that I would be least upset by? Because at this point, it's just my wife and I for Thanksgiving. So yes, I mean, that's family. It's my wife and I. But like, that's it. And like, I'm totally fine with that. Like I can.
And you could have that any day if you wanted to.
And we do. But I'm saying like, you know, I'm not sitting there going, oh, I wish I had aunts and uncles and, you know, whatever. I'm like, I got my wife here. I'm happy, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, if there's
I
not
don't have
football
to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything.
If there's not football on TV,
off.
or if I'm eating, you know, fish sticks for dinner instead of like Thanksgiving dinner, then I'm going to be pretty sad.
Yeah. You know, you say the three F's.
Yeah.
The big joke that my brother and I have always had about my dad. I mean, my parents split up when I was like less than a year old.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, you know, he didn't get married until after I got married.
Yeah.
So he was just like perpetually single. And just like took atrocious care of himself.
Yeah.
You know, all the time, you know, drinking and smoking and, you know, and he's still alive. He's just like, but we used to always joke that, you know, his entire diet consisted of the 3 Ps.
I'm trying to guess what the 3 Ps would be. I don't.
Yeah. Popcorn.
Oh, well, I love popcorn.
Pepsi.
All right.
And Peppo-Mints.
What are Peppo-Mints?
They're like the little lifesaver size peppermints.
Yes.
And they're like the little individually wrapped.
Now, when you
like
say
that was like,
when you say popcorn, it was microwave popcorn, or
like whatever he felt like making.
Okay.
But he always had just had a consistent giant bowl of popcorn.
I want some popcorn right
just
now.
Like he'd like lay in
that.
like, you know, he would say he's like, I'm gonna go doze, and he'd like lay there with like about a bowl of popcorn on his.
I don't know, man. I mean, listen, I don't, you know, all I know is what you tell me, and I'm sure there's a lot of missing information, but kind of sounds like your dad was living his best life.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. But it's just really funny because, you know, the 3 Ps, the 3 Fs,
yeah,
you know, completely different, but
yeah,
it's funny when it's a certain thing can be summed up by 3 words that start with the same letter, or 3 products.
It was really making me sad. It was making me sad watching all that football on Thanksgiving, though, just because, like, you know, they make it all about, it's like the John Madden Thanksgiving football weekend, you know?
Oh, so they make it all about him?
Yeah, like in the end zones, it says something about, you know, John Madden and whatnot, and they showed some clips. They always show the same clips, you know, the mama bucket and the daddy bucket and the baby bucket and, like, the turducken stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because, I mean, at this point, he hasn't been... You know, I mean, obviously now he's passed away, but I'm saying, like, you know, he was gone for a while, like retired from broadcasting.
Yeah. But in a way, it never felt like he left.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's like nobody, I don't think anybody will ever come even close to filling those shoes. Like his absence from football is, I think, felt greatly.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just ever since he quit broadcasting football, it's never been the same, and it's never even been close. Like
but
that, he was football.
It almost feels like he's still there. Like his presence is still.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
So much
to me, it's more like, you know, when I'm watching the San Francisco 49ers just give an absolute thumping. I mean, it was just abuse, really. I mean, 6 touchdowns on 6 consecutive drives. Like, I wouldn't predict that if the Niners played like the Panthers or the Patriots, who are like the 2 worst teams in the league. And I'm watching that, and I don't even remember the name of the play-by-play guy, you know, but like the color guy is Greg Olson, who used to be a tight end in the league. And that's like Fox's A team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's not even like those 2 guys can't even like sniff Pat Summerall and John Madden's farts. Like, it's not even close. CBS, I mean, I think I like, you know, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. I'm not saying that's some kind of substitute.
Imagine being told that. Like, you guys are so bad at what you do that I wouldn't even allow you to be around these legends that are just like, and just sitting there and just ripping farts. Like you're so bad at your job that you're not even...
I mean, it just seems to me like
be in that room when they're doing that.
I don't think that like Fox wants to spend money on commentators, is what it seems like to me, because they have the crappiest
because
ones.
They're going to make an AI anyways. It's going to be like that football robot. Eventually.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm saying like CBS, you got Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, which I mean, I think they're really good. If you don't like Tony Romo, that's good for you. And then of course, you know, Monday Night Football has Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who used to be the Fox A team. And I don't know. For some reason, a lot of people don't like Joe Buck. I don't get it. I think they're a great duo. Sunday Night Football's got Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. That I don't care for. I like Mike Tirico just fine. It's Chris Collinsworth I kind of can't. I used to like him, and now I can't stand him. And then what? Like Thursday Night Football is Al Michaels, and I think it's Kirk Herbstreit on there with him. And Al Michaels is great. Kirk Herbstreit also seems fine. But then over at Fox, it's just like... Yeah, Herbstreit.
Herbstreit?
Yeah. It's like H-E-R-B.
I thought his name was Kurt Street.
No, it's Herbstreit. It's a strange name. I'd never heard it before. It's not strange. I'm saying it's an uncommon name, I guess. But I can't stand Greg Olson is my point. And I'm saying those guys literally are sitting in the chairs that used to have Pat Summerall and John Madden. The greatest commentating duo in the history, in my opinion, of NFL football.
And it'll never reach that point again.
No.
I got like a gnat flying around down here. I thought I killed it several times.
All right, we're at an hour and 38 minutes. You want to do one more topic?
I mean, I can save this for next time.
We're just talking about food now.
I was just going to mention that, like, and it's like becoming more and more of a reality. Like this time of year, like I like the holidays and stuff, but I feel like after Halloween, it's just like feels really depressing, all the time. And I just like, because I love the sounds of summer.
Oh,
and like the crickets and everything. And once it's like this, I was just taking my dog for a walk before we recorded tonight, and it's just completely silent. No, I mean, it wasn't. No,
I said Nellie. Your dog's Nellie.
Nellie, yeah, Nellie. I took her on a walk, and it's just completely quiet, and it's like, oh, makes me, and it's like, I think that leads to like a little bit of a seasonal depression.
I mean, I guess I get that. I hate that it gets dark so early. I'll say that. That's depressing. But I mean, I don't know. I love the holidays, you know, like to me, depressing is like December 26th. Especially after like January 2nd is even more depressing.
Yeah.
But at least then you got playoff football. I mean, the day after the Super Bowl is also very depressing.
Yeah. Well, you can rest assured that December 26th is
Boxing Day.
It's Boxing Day. It's my birthday.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're correct. That's exciting.
45.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that I have a struggle with it, and I think both my wife and I do, because it always feels like in like end of October, November, we always like make big sweeping changes or like do something to keep us invested. Like we moved into this house like during that time, bought our dog in November.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of things happen in November because I think that we struggle with like a depression.
Yeah.
Can't just like let it be.
Have you tried alcohol?
I mean, not alcohol, like maybe some other stuff that's.
I was going to say you could try Samuel Smith's Nut Brown Ale, who is not sponsoring the show, but who should.
They should.
I would love that.
No. But yeah, I think that it's a difficult time. I'd be curious to hear if other people in the comments maybe for this, how they deal with that.
I mean, it's certainly not uncommon.
I want to say at the end of September when I was taking my dog for the walk, it was the evening and the crickets were still making like plenty of noise.
Yeah.
And I just like took out my phone and I just like recorded it for a minute and a half.
Oh,
and
just
then when we
were
walking tonight, what's that?
Just to have it to listen to later.
Just to have it. And I forgot that I did that. And then when we were on the walk tonight, I was like, oh man, I'm going to listen to it. And then I like uploaded it to my Dropbox. I can send it to you if you want to hear it.
I mean, I'd be curious just to hear just because I'm sure the bugs sound different where you live, it's different bugs, right? So, I mean, you could always like put that in a timeline and just copy and paste it and make yourself like an hour of like, I mean, honestly, you could probably do that. Like make an hour-long timeline of that bug recording with just like a scene of like, twilight in a meadow and upload that to YouTube and people would be into it. Like if they're trying to fall asleep, that sounds like a great thing to put on.
Yeah. I think so. It's just, but the one I have is like, I was recording it and walking at the same time so you can hear my footsteps. And I think that
doesn't matter. You
bit.
put that in there. You're like, oh, going for a walk at twilight on a summer evening. And then the footsteps make sense,
Yeah.
Just make sure you put a commercial break every 5 minutes. Serene scene interrupted every 5 minutes by an ad for a gaming chair or dick pills or whatever. I don't know. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
All right.
I think at this point you've been listening to episode 49 of Here's My Question for You. Big one next time, episode 50. We're halfway there.
You gotta bring it.
Halfway there.
We're got to bring the big topics next time.
Well, I'm going to have to make a new list, I guess. I'm out of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone isn't too angry with us for missing a little bit of time, but that's the way it is. We're doing our best.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be back next week. You don't know.
Maybe yeah. Which I think makes it, maybe if you can't rely on us, it makes it more special when one does show up.
You definitely can't rely on us. Just FYI.
Yeah.
I
mean, when major life changes are happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hope everyone has a good week, and I'm going to go take a shit.